7 years ago, I was fired from my job. And as a result, I had to take on a lot of freelance gigs. One of them was a telemarketer. I was calling people, business owners specifically, and I was asking if they wanted to purchase advertising spots in local papers. I didn't tell too many people that. Very few of my friends even knew that, because it was humiliating. Just about 10 years removed from UCLA, and I'm a telemarketer. I call that time in my life the ebb, the backward movement, negative momentum of my career. But I have a theory. I know it sounds crazy. But I have a theory that momentum isn't just about moving forward with force. It's about the backward movement, the forward movement. It's a constant shift. And because it's a constant shift, you have to find good in all circumstances, which is why it's ebb and flow. Finding momentum in all your circumstances. So back to being fired, because it happened. I was 2008, I guess. I was a reporter and an anchor in Atlanta. And it wasn't a big deal now, but at the time it was devastating. It's just the nature of TV. If you haven't been fired, you're not successful. It's serious. I can't think of anybody. Katie Couric got fired. Look where she went, right? And when I think about that time, I was so desperate, I was so devastated, because I felt like I didn't have any options. Can anybody in the room really relate to that in the back? That's the most desperate feeling you can ever have. No options. What am I going to do with myself? But now I know that that was the best thing that could have ever happened in my career. It doesn't sound right, but being fired changed the entire trajectory of what I wanted to do. I have a couple of friends in the audience right now. They will tell you, when I went to UCLA, I was going to be a local news anchor here in LA. That was the dream. Come back to LA, be here. I was gonna be working at ABC with Mark Brown. We'd be laughing. Hey, Mark. To commercial Mark. Or I'd be on KNBC with Fritz Coleman. It's cold, right, Fritz? That's right. Back to you. I could see it so clearly. That was it, that was my career. So then you tell me I'm fired in local news, and there was a stigma attached to me because I was fired. Whether it be true or not, there was just a perception, and sometimes perception is reality. And as a woman, as a black woman, we don't get that many chances. Second chances don't come often, they just don't. I'm not saying it happens all the time, but most of the time we just don't. So I had to do two things. Because when you feel desperate or you feel like you don't have any options, it's just human nature to do one of two things: fight or flight. You fight out of your circumstance or you escape. These are all coping mechanisms. You fight or you flight. Well, I decided to do both. I decided to stay in broadcasting because I love it. It's my passion. But I was leaving local news. I had to, right? I was gonna stay following what I love, what I dreamt to do since I was a child. I was supposed to be Oprah. But I have to make myself invaluable to the marketplace. I have to be unique. I can't just be another local news reporter. So I made a conscious effort to enter an industry that didn't really respect women. I made a conscious effort to enter an industry that simply said your voice won't be as valuable as your male counterpart. I had to enter an industry that said you probably got this job based on what you look like. So funny, the love of my life is here somewhere. And I told him, I said, if I was sleeping to get to the top, I wouldn't take this job. Hubby, where are you? But I knew I could do it regardless. I knew that if I did it successfully, I'd be one of the few, and I'd be a pioneer for many. One of a few and a pioneer for many. Enter ESPN. My name is Cari Champion, and I am the host and moderator of First Take. I work with two of the biggest sports personalities in the industry. If you haven't seen the show, maybe you have heard of Skip Bayless and Stephen A. Smith. I work with two of the biggest sports egos. And that's not a diss. I'm not being rude. You have to have an ego to be successful. If you don't have one, you better get one. Because nobody else will believe in you but yourself. When I got the job, I thought it'd be difficult. I thought it'd be hard. I didn't realize that it required an incredible amount of dedication and discipline. I literally, and this is just the truth, literally could say I watched 30 to 45 hours of sports programming a week, depending on what season it is and when they collide, right? We get volumes and volumes of research every single night, and they're asking us to digest that information and deliver it to you, the viewer, conversationally, so that you can understand what's happening. No matter how smart I am, no matter how much I know, listening to a woman tell you sports for whatever reasons doesn't hold as much weight, as much value as my male counterpart, right? That's what they say. Listening to me offer an opinion will not be as valuable as what they gotta say. That's what they try to tell you. So there are many times, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 12, I am feeling underutilized. I'm feeling not appreciated. I'm feeling like my skill set supersedes what I'm doing. Frustrating. I feel stuck. Am I the only one who has ever felt that? I think it's weird. I don't know too many people. I have a great job. My boss appreciates me. I have a great job. I'm making so much money. I don't need no more money. I have such a wonderful job. I am being utilized to the best of my abilities. I don't hear that. I don't hear that often at all. And so when I feel that frustration, that backward movement, that negative momentum, if you will, I have to think about the bigger picture, about where I want to see myself, about how can I see myself in a different situation. You have to understand when you feel as if you're out of options, if you're built for this life, you move yourself out of that situation to a better situation. There's a saying, get comfortable with being uncomfortable. I believe in that. There's truth in that. When I'm at work, I often see that day in and day out, that I have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable, that there is two sets of rules, the rules for the boys and the rules for the girls, right? And that can be frustrating, but I know there's a purpose. I know there's a plan. I know there's value in my voice. Anybody know the Ray Rice story? You guys are very familiar with that, right? Ray Rice, former running back for the Baltimore Ravens, caught on camera in an elevator hitting his wife, then fiance. We were appalled. The world was. What was considered sports news became mainstream media news, consistently talking about it everywhere you go. For so long in the sports industry, women's voices were to tee up topless, to be traffic cops. We were just ornaments, so to speak. But when this happened, all of a sudden, we need all the women to weigh in. And all of a sudden, all the women have something important to say. And all of a sudden, the women are finding their voice, Cari Champion included. And I was asked by a reporter, how does it feel to find your voice? I said, I've always had my voice. They just decided to use it. You don't understand your circumstance. Your circumstance could be extremely negative. It really can be. But there's always a bigger picture. There's always a reason why you are in your circumstance. It will propel you to move forward. I'm not sitting here to tell you a story because it's exciting, because I just want to hear myself talk. I'm telling you a life that I'm living as we speak right now. I often feel underutilized. I often feel as if they're not using me to the best of my ability, but that's just the small picture. I don't think about the big picture of where I can be and what I'm doing and how people see me and the message that I'm sending. You guys have to really, truly think about that, the bigger picture. No matter how uncomfortable your circumstance is, no matter how awkward things may or may not be, for you, there is a bigger picture. There is movement. There is momentum in all of your circumstances. Finding my voice led me to get a podcast. ESPNW created a podcast for me. It's called Be Honest with Cari Champion. Can you subscribe right now? Because I need and I know my battery is dying or something's happening. Please live through it. But it's called Be Honest with Cari Champion. And I just take, thank you. I just take lifestyles, I take stories, I take storylines, different things like that, and I talk about them for everyday life. And it really is a way for me to find my way as I make my way through an industry that doesn't truly honor the women. But I did it on purpose. I knew it would be hard. I knew I would feel stuck because I knew at the end of the day I would be able to accomplish this. I'm built for this life. Have you heard that saying? Are you built for this life? Everybody ain't built for this life. Only a few can be. And so I challenge you right now to think about whatever circumstance that you're in, whatever relationship it may be, friendship, who knows, working circumstance, life in general. If you're not happy, you need to remove yourself from that situation, redefine yourself, fight and flight. It's positive movement at all times. It works together for the good. I wish you all the best, but I say one thing, honestly, change your circumstance. You're entitled to do that. Thank you.